Okay, hi, my name is Sierra Stapp, and today I'm going to be talking about geothermal energy. And in a debate setting, I would be on the affirmative side. Before I get started, I just want to give a general definition of what geothermal energy is. Geothermal energy is energy stored in the earth. We would then use a turbine powered underground reservoir that can be tapped into to generate steam or heat that ultimately can power buildings. You can use it for electricity or you can use it to cool buildings down. And that's just to name a few options. So I really want to stress my first point because I think it's the most important. Um, so with this plan, with geothermal energy, using it, it has a very low level of pollution, which means it's less harmful than what we have and what we use daily, such as fossil fuels. In other words, oil, coal, um, any of those really harmful substances. And in my opinion, this alone makes it the best option because it's a renewable energy source that isn't going to run out anytime soon because the earth naturally replenishes itself. And not only is the earth replenishing itself, but we are also replenishing it with this particular style of extracting um, the energy because it is a cycle. So we are putting energy in and getting energy out. I also want to note that it has a very small footprint on the land due to most of the machinery being underground. So, as I say, there won't be any giant eyesores on the land of factories just pumping out fuels into the air. Another point I really want to stress, thirdly, it produces only a sixth of the amount of carbon dioxide that our normal power plants pump out daily. And if you really think about it, just a sixth of the bad fossil fuels that we pump out daily, that's an extreme cut down. It is very minute compared to what we are doing right now every single day. And obviously, that is not working because of all the pollution in our world currently. Now, there are three different types of power plants that can be made based on your location and I'm going to go through the three different types and basically explain what they're used for in this particular process. So the first one is a flash plant. In this case, the turbines would be pulling pressure, deep high pressure water into cooler low pressure water, which is used if you have to tap in further down, such as around a volcano. Um, if you're trying to tap down deep into where the magma would be, you'd create a cycle of shared energy, and that's when you use a flash plant because you have to drill in much farther than you would, say, in our next plant, a binary plant, which is it uses hot water, which is passed by a secondary fluid with much lower boiling point than water, thus causing it to turn into vapor, which in turn drives the turbine. And this is the most used one that is proposed because it is using water vapor to power a turbine is technically the most efficient way to do it and less harmful than drilling further down. Um, and then, like the third plant is a I never put the third one. And the third plant is a dry steam plant. This takes the steam out of the ground and it uses it to drive the water turbine. So the dry steam plant and the binary plant technically are probably the most used one rather than a flash plant. Flash plants are really just used for really high pressure situations around volcanoes or if you have to drill really, really deep down. So when picking which type of energy plant should be used, you really just need to take into consideration the soil type, the location, and what exactly you want to be using it for. According to National Geographic, we've actually been using geothermal energy for quite a long time. Um, really, in the past, people have used geothermal energy to power their um, heating, their air conditioning, even in really snow-covered areas, we use it to pump hot water underneath the pipes in the roads to melt the snow on top of the surface to help everyone that is going to be traveling on those roads. So I actually learned that during this research, and I think that's very cool. Now, there's actually a very successful um, country that has been using geothermal energy for a long time, and that's Iceland. Now, according to the National Energy Authority, Iceland has 89% of the houses is powered by geothermal energy, and over 54% of the primary energy used in their country is geothermal energy. Now, in my opinion, they've been using this for quite a few years now, and it really has worked out for them. So I think they're a gigantic success story for this particular plan. And I really want to stress also, lastly, that while I think this is the best plan, I do think it is a temporary plan. I think that we need to be much better as a nation of coming up with a more permanent plan to help clean up our environment. But in my opinion, I do think that this is the best temporary fix that has been proposed, and I really do believe that it will help clean up our world. Thank you for listening.